Hey YouTube, I'm Austin, former bartender and restaurant owner, here to explore filmmaking as well as my love of food. I've always enjoyed simple dishes that come together to be greater than the sum of their parts, and that's what I'm going to explore here at Keep It Simple Cooking. Today, we're stuck in my workshop while my kitchen is being renovated, so we're going to talk knives. Arguably, the most basic, most essential, and most personal tool in the kitchen. There's a lot to evaluate to pick your weapon of choice. A lot of the choices you'll have to make are on your own, but hopefully I can point you in the right direction. If you're anything like me, you like having one solid go-to choice, which for me is a classic commercial chef knife. This is my daily driver, the knife I use for almost anything. It's a Dexter brand, basics line, 10-inch blade, standard commercial plastic handle. Unless I've got a specific reason to reach for something else, this is what I'm grabbing. It can handle almost any task you throw at it, whether that's slicing onions to caramelize, dicing tomatoes for pico de gallo, or chopping carrots to roast. To find your old reliable, you're going to have to think about a few things. The first and biggest decision you'll have to make is what style of knife you want, either Western or Japanese. The biggest difference is the type of cutting that you're going to be doing. Western knives tend to rock back and forth to chop, where Japanese style work as more of a slice. I own both, and each has their uses, but if you're unsure and just getting into cooking at home, go for Western style. The next decision is going to be size. My go-to Dexter has a 10-inch blade, which I chose for two reasons. The number one reason is that I have big hands, and the taller blade accommodates very well, so I'm not constantly bashing my knuckles on the cutting board. The second reason is probably the most important one to pay attention to. That's that the knife is comfortable in your hand. If it's not comfortable in your hand, you're not going to want to use it. You're not going to get good with it. And that's a good example. My wife absolutely hates this knife. It's big and very unwieldy for her. And that's why she has this pretty little number from Pioneer Wood. Well, that she's a sucker for anything Reed Drummond puts her name on. There's two more knives I'd recommend every cook, home or professional, has in their arsenal to get started. The paring and the serrated knife. Also known as bread knife. The paring knife is what you'll use for detail work, such as peeling potatoes or coring tomatoes. Comfort of your hand is just as, if not more important than with the chef knife, as the grips you take with a paring knife, you tend to be a little more on the blade itself, so you want something that you are comfortable working with. A good serrated knife is very useful, especially if you opt for one that has more of a wave to the teeth instead of actual individual teeth. Scallop style you'll also see in some. This one I find works great for my use. Obviously, slicing bread is the most common use, but it's also handy for when you're carving a roast and for slicing fleshy fruits like grapes, peaches, or tomatoes. Yes, tomatoes are a fruit. No, they don't go in fruit salad. That's the difference between intelligence and wisdom. These three basic options will let you tackle almost any task in the kitchen, from pulling strawberries to slicing your favorite key lime vine. Most importantly, sticking to the basics will help the most with keeping it simple. Thanks for sticking with me to the end here, and I hope I was able to shed some light on something for you, or at least keep you entertained. I'm just getting rolling on videos, and the kitchen renovation is nearly done. So keep your eyes peeled for the jump to the kitchen. Until then, I'm Austin, and just remember, keep it simple.